Greetings, it is I, your host, Cinema Kane, back at you today, and today we're talking Terrifier 2. I'll start off this review by saying something I didn't think I would say. If you recall, I didn't particularly love the first Terrifier. There were things about it I liked, but I didn't love everything. This sequel had a lot more things that I liked about it than the original. In fact, I'd say I enjoyed this more than the original. The two biggest problems with Terrifier 2, in my opinion, are, for one thing, the length. 2 hours and 18 minutes? Are you kidding me? It felt like there was some serious fat that needed to be trimmed off of this thing, because there were sequences that carried on for too long, and there were sequences that just felt like they could have used some tweaks here and there in the editing room. That said, the other thing I didn't like, much like the original, is I thought the original had some truly gruesome, gross-out gore scenes. The sequel amplifies that to a tremendous magnitude. There's a scene with a possum that just it almost made me heave watching the movie. There's another scene, takes place in a bedroom, won't get into what happens, but I mean, to say that it's unrealistic but brutal is an understatement. Art the Clown makes Rob Zombie movies look tame by comparison. The things I like, though, the reason I like it better than the original, is that this sequel does something that I've always appreciated in horror movies. I really felt like this movie, in many respects, reminded me a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. The reason I say that is because in Elm Street 3, they built on the idea of Freddy, who he was. They gave you more of his background. And as a result, suddenly, they were building on the mythology of Freddy and what they had set up in the original film. That's great. I am all for world building. I'm all for building on that mythology and making it as cool and as, prolonged and deep as you can. They started doing that with Terrifier 2, building on who Art the Clown is. But the problem is they didn't do enough. I still have more questions than I do answers. And that's the biggest problem with the movie. While I enjoyed it much more than the original because they started to do that, they still didn't give us any flat-out answers as to who Art the Clown is. Yes, he's a supernatural entity of some kind. How did he get this way? More importantly, where'd the little girl come from? Yes, I'm aware that the little girl clown in the film was supposedly a victim of Art's, but how did she become like Art? More importantly, was she a vision or was she real? Because sometimes people could see her, sometimes people couldn't see her. The dream sequences in this movie also reminded me of something out of Elm Street. But another thing that reminded me of Elm Street was the crafting sequence at the beginning of the film when our main character is creating her costume for Halloween. Totally gave me Kristen at the beginning of Elm Street 3 building the model Freddy house vibes, especially with the synthesizer soundtrack that they had behind her. Total Elm Street 3 vibes. I enjoyed Terrifier 2 more than I did the original. If the things I had mentioned had been done better, I would have been happy. If the gore hadn't been as over the top as it was, I would have been really happy. Overall, I enjoyed the film a lot more than I did the original. And if they make a third one, maybe they'll answer some of the questions that this film brought up. If you enjoyed the first Terrifier, odds are you'll enjoy Terrifier 2. As I stated, I have my issues with it, but I'll probably continue with the franchise. I've been your host, Cinema Kane. I'll see you next time at the video store. Greetings, it is I, your host, Cinema Kane, reminding you to like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm already at 27. It's only May. Try and help me make that happen. Please share and like this video. Spread it on all your social media platforms. And I'll see you next time at the video store.